So when I saw this pop up in a group chat online, I thought it was a joke because in my mind, it's like, okay, they wouldn't really release a new tower right after a fortification ends. Like that would just be too far, right? PG, they have to have some sense. Oh no, it's legit. They're releasing the Earth Flak Tower right after the fortification of it ends. Good job, PG, for making perfect sense. As always, bringing in the best sensible actions. Oh my god, I swear. It makes no sense. And then that coupled with the fact that it is another tower that requires elemental embers, which there is already a shortage of. Unless you're like one of the 1% that has all max towers and you're a ridiculous spender. The rest of us are screwed at this point. So they're releasing the final Flak Tower. The Earth Flak. So far we have the Dark, Fire, Ice, Electro, which is Wind, and then Earth. Alright, so let's learn what this son of a gun does. And also, by the way, so what I suggested to PG, and this is not the first time I've suggested this, make it to where they need to make it to where all of the fire and ice turret shards, not the flaks, the turrets, the older ones, before flaks even existed, those were the two that we had, make those elemental embers. They're already elemental towers, but they're releasing these new flaks that are so much better than both of those towers and making them irrelevant. And yet, we still get all these shards in chests. I literally cry whenever I get these shards in chests. I have over 400k of each of them. Because, why build them? They're relevant. They're not as useful as these flaks. And they keep making... There's literally 5 towers in the game that require all the exact same material that you cannot farm up. It is not like wood, but you have to get it in chests and... I was about to say in events, but you only get through chests and seasons. So it's really screwing over a huge portion of the player base. So please change that, PG. I mean, I don't see why that would be too much to ask for, right? I mean, they're already elemental towers, so just change it to elemental embers. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyways, so let's talk about this. I'm gonna do another video on my suggestions on how to use it and the strategies and all that, how it compares to the other flaks in a separate video. This was just to rant a little bit and, talk about what it does. Okay, so it deals elemental flak damage, just like all the other flaks. So the super shot provides an invincible shield to other nearby towers. Same thing as a storm tower, right? But it also provides an HP buff to these nearby towers until the end of the battle. As I said, they're releasing these towers that are better than their normal counterparts, right? Because the ice flak is kind of the same as a cannon tower. It has the same ability of, like, removing shields. The Ice Flak is better than the Cannon Tower. When you used to use cannons, now you use Ice Flaks to do basically the same thing. Dark Flaks are kind of like what Archers were. Because Archers used to deal an insane amount of damage. Before, like, all the Flaks and turrets came out, Archers were the main source of damage. That and Lightning Towers. So they're releasing these Flaks that have the same abilities as the normal towers, therefore making them irrelevant for players who are trying to make a good base. Good marketing plan. But also screws over the entire player base. So it gives this HP buff to these nearby towers that will stay until the end of the battle. It is a permanent buff, which is quite strong. So the range of the Fire Flak is comparable to other Flak towers. And its super shot, however, only affects the towers within its 5-tower grouping. So, like, for example, you have so technically speaking, there are 8 different islands in the map, in the game. You might only see 3 long ones and 2 little ones, but those 3 long ones split up into 2 different parts of 5 islands. Sorry, 5 towers. And each of those 5 towers is a separate island in the game. So, let's say you have, on the middle long island, you have this Earth Flak on the front half of the long island. It will not provide the shield buff to the towers on the back half. The back 5 towers will not be affected, if that makes sense. So, yeah, this paragraph kind of goes over that in more detail. So how does this interact with dragon abilities. Just like any other elemental tower, it can be blocked with crystalline shield. It cannot be inverted using reverse projectiles or invert, and it can be absorbed by elemental barrier. Same thing as all the other elemental ones. It will not, by the way guys, the Earth Flak Tower will not be susceptible to the Storm Tower Resist that certain dragons possess. Storm Tower Resist will only decrease incoming damage from Storm Towers. Which, I mean, kind of makes sense, but not like Storm Tower Resist does much anyways, but, you know, good to know. What is the best strategy to building an Earth Flak? Yeah, right, we don't listen to PG. Will there be more towers after the Flak series? Because that's the final Flak. For sure, of course, because PG gotta make more money, right? Am I right, kids? For the engineers inside the builder hut are hard at work building more defensive, profitable towers that protect your island. The Earth Flag is the latest accomplishment, and they'll share more towers here in the works as they are ready to be released. Better not be a new consumable. All I'm gonna say. We better not have like, you know, I don't know, like new shards or something that, you know, adds more consumables to gold chests. No, just make it using wood and elemental embers. Please, PG. Por favor, senor. Please. Okay, so how many Earth Flax towers can you build? So just like all the other Flax, you can only have one of these Flax on the same island. So again, as I said, there are 8 islands on your base. So you could potentially have up to 8 Earth Flags. Do I suggest that? No. I mean, if you watch any of my other videos on building bases, you should know the reasoning behind that, like, by now. So I'm not going to get into that. But you can have up to 8. And you can't have an you cannot have an Earth Flag. There's so many freaking flags. Oh my goodness. Alright, you cannot have an Earth Flag on the same island as a Storm Tower, because they do basically the same thing. So keep that in mind. So does this replace Storm Towers? We'll have to see. So, you know, these are the level requirements for building up Flags. Interesting. The Earth Flag will be available to build starting today, November 6th, coincidentally right after the fortification ends. Like I said, makes perfect sense. Why release the Earth Tower when last week was the oh, I didn't even notice this. Speaking of, we've planned a developer promotion around that requires us to release this new building during this time frame. We tried to do our best so we can wait, what? With these promotions. What promotions? Oh, they're saying like within PG, within the company, they are promoting people. Does that mean the people who are developing this, they're like, okay, I'm thinking about this. All right, really quick, I just got to think about this. All right, so let's say they're in a board meeting, right? And like they're sitting around giving ideas, like, hey man, you know, and there's like, you know, PG Joe. All right, Joe used to actually be a real PG guy, but he left. He was amazing, by the way. Like PG Joseph. That guy was amazing. He left. Just like all the good PG employees are leaving. So sad. But yeah, so like PG Joe's over here. He's like, man, all right, let's not change the elemental towers. So let's just keep introducing these embers so we get more money. And like the PG HQ is like, man, this guy knows how to make more money. Let's promote him. I feel like that is how these board meeting goes. Like whoever can make the most money wins. It's like a competition. And, like, the CEO, he knows how to make the most money. And then, like, people are competing to try and figure out which ideas to implement in the game to get the most money from the players. Which ones can screw over the player base the most. I know that's probably not what happens, but I swear that's what it feels like. Okay, so yeah, here is this good stuff. Tower levels increasing 70... Oh, I swear I thought that was increasing in another 5 on top of what they are, like the increase of 5 levels that they did last week. I just got so scared for a second. Okay, anyway guys, let me know down in the comments what you guys